Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Jewish Federation of Greater Ann Arbor's 2024 annual meeting. Thank you very much for being here with us. It has been a challenging year for our community, for Israel, and for the Jewish people. Throughout history, resilience has been our superpower. We cannot choose the moment when we are called upon to lead, but we can choose how we will respond to the situations in which we find ourselves. And we were made for moments like this.
We were made for moments like this. The Jewish Federation of Greater Ann Arbor, like many organizations, conveners and communities across the United States, were made for moments like this. Our pillars are foundational for both our organization, but really for our community. They are philanthropy, convening, and engagement. How do we give? How do we convene? How do we engage? How do we?
We were made.
We were made.
We were made
We were made for moments
like this.
We were made for moments like this.
We were made for moments like this.
We were made for moments like this.
We were made for moments like this.
We were made for moments like this. Thank you for making moments like this possible.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Asha Lopatin. I am the new Director of Community Relations at the Greater Ann Arbor Jewish Federation, and it's really an honor to be here. And I want to say it's been such a joy. I've only been here less than 3 months. It's been such a joy and inspiration to meet so many of you, and I look forward to meeting everyone. And I have time to meet everyone. That's my mandate, and really bring people together. Philanthropy, convening, and engagement. And in my Dvar Torah today, I wanted to divide it up into really 2 parts. First of all, it has been a joy to be here, but such a tough time, and just so recently, as lovers of Israel, we struggle so much with this very difficult war, and we're saddened by every life that is lost, every innocent life that is lost. And so recently, some innocent lives are lost. And I think of last week's portion, where in the portion of Bahar, in the book of Leviticus, the Torah says, Ger v'toshav b'chai imach. It says, the stranger and the resident shall live with you. And our great Rabbi Nachmanides said that this refers to Jews and non-Jews, that we live together as a community, v'chai imach. We have the same imperative of respecting life, of promoting life, and of being sad when a life is lost. So the message is really, as much as we care, and we're about the Jewish community, we care for the broader community, and that's who we are, and we must care for everybody. And the end of this portion, actually, this is a very tough portion that we're going to read this Shabbat. Chukotai talks about, oh, and things are bad and God's angry and all that. But I want to touch on, towards the end, it talks about how do we respond to tough times. And the Torah says you respond to tough times by ish ki yafli lindor neder berkecha nafshot l'Hashem. The idea is that we give of ourselves. When times are tough, we give of ourselves. We understand how much we can give of ourselves. And the Torah goes through a whole list, if it's a man or a woman or a child or an elder, everyone. The idea is that we each have our own unique contribution to make. And that is precious, and that cannot be replaced. In fact, the end of the portion says, you can't replace something that's holy. You cannot replace Lo Yimirenu, each and every one of us that's here, that's part of our federation, that's part of our Jewish community, and as I mentioned, the broader community, is priceless as the image of God and can give so much to this community. And we need that. There's no one who can replace each and every one of you. We need you. We need you to be involved with the Federation in your own unique way, whatever that is, however you can give. And I just want to say that in these few months that I've been here already, I've seen how much each and every one of you can give in different ways and in meaningful ways. And I look forward to continuing, and our Federation, God willing, will grow, and our community will grow, and we will have an influence on this world because of the unique contributions everyone can give. And in this time, this challenging time, it is all of you, all of us, that can really turn things around if we put ourselves out and we share our unique gifts. Thank you.
Thank you, Asher. We are so fortunate to have you and your expertise in this community. And we look forward to expanding all of the connections and conversations in the future. We're grateful to our community partners, the rabbis, professional staff members, and volunteer leaders who have joined us tonight. To avoid the risk of omission or extending our evening, we won't list each of you, and I'm sorry that we won't because we're very grateful that you're here. We encourage everybody to look at our community directory on our website to learn more about all of our partners who contribute to the richness and the variety of our local Jewish community. We are really grateful to have such wonderful partners, and I'll speak about that again later. But I also just wanted to add that when you came in, if you didn't see it when you came in, I encourage you to look on your way out. We have an installation called Rape is Not Resistance that Jewish Community Leadership Program graduate Marie Patty installed on campus this spring. And she has put it out here. It's a beautiful, well, it's an important reflection of her feelings about what has been going on. And so I encourage you to take a look on your way out. So this evening, we'll share stories of impact of our efforts and programs over the past year. But to get a visual sense of the breadth of our work, we're delighted to share our year in review.
Good evening, Larry Edler, and happy to be up here with Jeremy Bloom. The work of the Federation is centered around three pillars: philanthropy, engagement, and convening. The philanthropy pillar encompasses our annual community campaign and allocations process. The Jewish Community Foundation, Life and Legacy, and Live Secure, as well as other fundraising to ensure the financial strength and sustainability of Federation and our community. This year, our community was called on to help Israel in its darkest hours through the Federation System's Israel Emergency Campaign. And we're very proud that we raised more than $700,000 toward this more than $830 million international campaign. The funds allocated so far have provided evacuation, housing, emergency medical services, trauma relief, and mental health services. The fund will continue to support economic recovery, future rebuilding, and healing. In the first year of our Live Secure matching grant program, which enabled us to hire our community security manager, Shane Dennis, we met our goal of $91,000, which was then matched by the Jewish Federations of North America. We have applied for and expect to receive an additional $95,000 from JFNA for security guards for children programming.
In addition to providing sustainability for our community, the Jewish Community Foundation utilized funds earned from fees to support the Jewish community study and other community efforts. In the coming year, the foundation will develop a strategy around funding communal endeavors. Through the foundation, donors can sustain local organizations and initiatives through named funds and endowments, and community members can open donor-advised funds to serve as their philanthropic piggy banks. By investing in the foundation, these benefit the local community rather than going to for-profits like Fidelity. The foundation is also home to Life and Legacy, which over the past 4 years has fostered a culture of legacy giving throughout our community. This year, we graduated from our initial 4-year program. We look forward to continuing with Life and Legacy Plus to ensure we and our communal partners make long-term financial sustainability a priority. We are particularly grateful to those members of the community who have elected to include the Jewish Federation in their legacy planning through their wills, insurance policies, and retirement plans. We also appreciate those corporate donors who have helped Federation achieve its aims this year. Please see our list of corporate donors in the program.
The annual community campaign is the engine that drives all that we are able to do together in our community. Thanks to you, our generous donors, we have raised just over $1,560,000, the most raised since 2008. From 639 donors, 40% who increased their gift from the previous year. 102 donations this year were from individuals or families who did not give last year, demonstrating your willingness to step up in these challenging times. Thank you very much. The success of our campaign is due to the significant effort of our campaign volunteers, whose personal outreach to donors across the community is the campaign's single largest source of gifts. This is not easy work, and we are grateful to everyone who took on the assignment on behalf of this community. I would also like to thank Josh Zukenik, who I had the privilege of working with over the past 2 campaigns as the co-chair, and he could not be here tonight, but it was a big privilege and honor to work with him.
The generosity of our donors to the annual community campaign enables us to provide our funding partners here in Washtenaw County, in Israel, and around the world the support they need to focus on their missions serving the community. Because of you, our volunteer allocations committee was able to increase the amount of funding to our partner organizations this year. We were also pleased to set aside some funds to be allocated specifically to programs and initiatives related to teen engagement, a significant priority area identified in our community study. You have received a complete list of this year's allocations in your event program. A full picture of our fundraising and allocations will be provided in a community impact report this fall. Over the past 2 years, the Federation's Community Engagement Fund, made possible by the annual community campaign and Zelma Weisgrove Fund for Cultural and Education, have supported collaborative, innovative projects such as the Recovery Seder, the Who Knows One event, and a partnership of EMU's Center for Jewish Studies, Spinning Dot Theater, and several Jewish communal organizations to bring together and bring to Ann Arbor Israeli playwright Ori Urian. That was at the community stage, and he produced his play Connections, which was in English for the first time. I extend my gratitude to our outstanding allocations and Israel Overseas Committee, as well as our Community Engagement Fund Committee. All of them take their stewardship of your funds seriously and deliberatively. Thank you again to each of you for strengthening our community and enriching Jewish life, both locally and around the world.
Our philanthropic efforts support families in sending their children to Jewish summer camps, which can be quite costly. Through the One Happy Camper and Jewish Summer Camp Scholarship Program, 32 campers attending Jewish overnight camps have received assistance to make this transformative experience a reality. An additional 18 campers received support to attend local Jewish day camps. I'm delighted to introduce Giselle Mordock Singer, who will speak about the impact of these programs on her family.
Okay, hi everybody, I'm Giselle, and my kids receive a scholarship for the summer camp this year, and I can talk here about my experience and how impactful it is for our family. I'm the granddaughter of Jewish Polish immigrants to Uruguay, South America. And I grew up in a Jewish community, kind of in a bubble. I went to a Jewish day school, and I went on, that was from Monday to Fridays, and on Saturdays I used to go to a youth movements. And in the summer, I went also to Jewish summer camp, overnight summer camp, just like it keeps going here. It was very impactful for me, receiving this Jewish and science education. At the age of 18, I did a trip to Israel for 9 months and to receive Jewish leadership education. And at the end of my trip, I decided I want to follow my grandparents' steps and be an immigrant too, this time in Israel. So after a year, I moved to Israel, and I lived there for 9 years. I met my husband there, who also was an immigrant from Brazil. Also, a grandson to Jewish immigrants from Poland and Greece. And after a few years, we married and we had kids, and my husband was accepted to a PhD program here in Ohio State University. So we moved to the US. And we wanted to give our kids a Jewish education as well as we received one in our home countries and in Israel. So we send our kids to Jewish camps. We love Camp Tabor, which is a very similar experience to the youth movement that camps they had in Uruguay. In fact, the same movement, which is Habonim Dror, is also in Uruguay, and I went there for a while, and lots of my friends went there, and it was as well very impactful for them too. So my oldest kid is going to be her 3rd year that she's going to Camp Tabor. My youngest is her first time this summer she's going for 4 nights. And I love it because, I mean, they learn Hebrew there, they made Jewish friends. My daughter goes with her summer camp friends to the movie theater sometimes. She's invited to bar mitzvahs. This year she went to like 3 or 4 bar mitzvahs already, which is a great experience for her. And it gives her, I mean, I feel like she's kind of experiencing some of my experience that I had as a child in a Jewish community in Uruguay, and it makes me feel great, and my husband too. So much for
Hi, everybody. I'm Mariella Hoffman Peterson, and I'm a former board member of Jewish Young Professionals, and now the current coordinator staff member for what we now call Next Gen Ann Arbor. So Federation's role in the community is to connect people to our community's rich opportunities for Jewish engagement, provide those who have not found a connection point new ways to be involved, and foster meaningful and thoughtful relationships with Israel. During this past year, our Women's Philanthropy initiative provided spaces through Ladies Night Out and Shoes and Booths for local women to get together and connect with one another around shared concerns. Next Gen A2, formerly Jewish Young Professionals, and our active board offered a diverse range of programs, including Shabbat dinners, holiday celebrations, and social activities. Our 2nd annual Mega Shabbat, held in partnership with Hillel and a bunch of different Jewish grad school organizations, was attended by over 100 people. 145 people have been participating in Next Gen events this year, with 65 attending more than 2 events, and we are ready to build on that success. Our Israel-related programming and outreach to the Jewish community was greatly enhanced by the efforts of our World Zionist Organization Shaliach, Amichai Findling, who also teaches at the Hebrew Day School. Because Amichai and our many volunteers, we were offering an Israeli film conversation series, welcomed a large delegation of teens from Nahalal as part of our student exchange, and provided numerous opportunities to connect with Israel during Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Memorial and Independence Days. One of the year's most significant programs was the Solidarity Mission to Israel. 7 members of our community visited for 5 days in March to bear witness, volunteer, and better understand the current situation. The group was based at our partner community, Moshav Nahalal, and deepened their connection with our friends who are family. I'm delighted to invite Taryn God to speak about her experience.
Hey everyone, good evening. I'm Taryn. I went on the recent Solidarity Mission to Israel with the Jewish Federation of Greater Ann Arbor. Here's some of what I wrote when I returned, and I apologize to any of you who have already heard pieces of this in other spaces. So October 7th, 2023 was horrific, obviously, but it was the response to October 7th from friends, colleagues, and previously respected organizations that was a gut punch to my core. Given that I'm someone who has fiercely fought for diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-oppression, and social justice, it was absolutely surreal to experience the immediate and unquestioning misuse of these ideals against Jews, against me. Everything I thought to be true was false. In the days following October 7th, my understanding of the world turned upside down. In all of my time fighting for others who hold historically marginalized identities, I had let my own historically marginalized Jewish identity be put aside. Jew hate was left to simmer right beneath the surface. Now, many of whom I had loved and trusted felt free to unabashedly declare their Jew hatred in a multitude of both loud and quiet ways. After October 7th, I felt a strong and overwhelming need to get to Israel, to go and to be there. And I felt an overwhelming need to get away from Ann Arbor and the daily gaslighting and microaggressions from those around me. I needed to see, to feel, to be present in the spaces that were impacted by October 7th. I needed to be with my people. I'm not religious, I'm more of an atheist, yet it felt that God had a hand in connecting me with the Jewish Federation of Greater Ann Arbor and their partnership with Nahalal. The Solidarity Mission brought out every emotion: anger, rage, sadness, hope, despair, love, hate, pride, fear, more rage, and even more love. And it was exactly what I needed to fill the hole that was left in me by those who let me down so severely since October 7th. I knew no one on the Solidarity Mission prior to March 25th, when we met at Ben Gurion Airport and in Nahalal. I didn't fully understand the itinerary. I showed up just putting my full trust in Amichai and Eileen, and it was the best decision. The thought, care, and intention put into every day, morning to night, was unparalleled. All logistics were taken care of. I could focus on why I was there. I could not believe the access, all that we fit into only 4 days. The care to ensure we were only in spaces where we were wanted and needed. The balance of horrors and joy. I was so well fed. It was nonstop in all the ways it needed to be. Exhausting, and I've never been more awake. We were able to bear witness at sites attacked by Hamas. We visited art exhibitions created in response to October 7th. We listened to journalists, survivors, displaced families, relatives of hostages, community response teams, a social media influencer, members of the IDF, and representatives from hostage headquarters. We heard bombs dropping and saw Gaza. We volunteered with an organization that jumped in to help IDF soldiers when the government would not. We stayed with families. It felt like home. I will forever be indebted to the Federation. When I needed my Jewish family, they were there. I cannot have this trip and the reason for it be in vain. 2 months later, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with all of this. I'm taking Hebrew lessons. I'm working alongside administration to navigate anti-Semitism at my child's school, which has skyrocketed since October 7th. I'm joining the board of a local synagogue. I hope to be more involved in the Federation. I know there are many like me who have been jolted awake in their 40s, now looking for community they thought was no longer needed, fighting a fight they thought was long over. And I am grateful to be here with you all as I start this important journey. Thank you.
So 26, I know my assignment.
I pay attention to hi everyone, I'm Julie Grand, I'm a board member here at the Federation. If I deviate from the script, blame me, not Eileen. So I'm here to talk about convening, and as the central address for the Jewish community, Federation leads and fosters collaboration to address broad communal issues, identify and attend to unmet needs, and develop innovative programming to strengthen the community. This year, our role as community convener continued to expand in both ways that were expected and planned for, as well as unanticipated. Our community security manager, Shane Dennis, has provided security advice, training, and assistance throughout the Jewish community since last June. Shane, are you back? Where are you, Shane?
Yeah.
All right. You can change it properly recognized before with like a little warm applause. So we're gonna talk about you, you might wanna listen. It's hard to imagine how he would have managed the last 235 days without his presence. Even before October 7th, Shane assisted campus fraternities and the Jewish Resource Center to deal with security incidents. He has been a regular source of support on campus, liaising with law enforcement to provide security for campus rallies and providing security guidance to Hillel and Chabad leadership. In the non-campus community, Shane's achievements have included establishing an incident reporting system on the Federation website, conducting training for teachers and volunteers at local congregations and organizations, overseeing the upgrade of doors at the JCC, developing a community crisis management and communications plan, conducting building assessments, and assisting 5 organizations in completing nonprofit security grant applications. There is truly no part of the community that has not been impacted by this work, and we're proud to have made it possible and so glad to have you here with us, Shane. Thank you. I'd like to take another moment to highlight an important initiative we've been working on this year, raising awareness about climate issues within our Jewish community. Although our board secretary, Annie Wallach, couldn't join us tonight, her commitment to this cause has been instrumental. Annie has helped unite a dedicated group of climate activists from local Jewish congregations to coordinate their efforts and support Ann Arbor's A20 initiative. One key outcome of this collaboration is the Climate Action Plan, which emphasizes community cooperation. This pledge has been signed so far by 5 local congregations and organizations, including our own board. One of the most significant achievements this year was the rollout, albeit delayed, although some might say right on time, of the results of our Washtenaw County Area Jewish Community Study. We were delighted by the interest shown during the town hall presentation and during the focus group meetings the following day. We are immensely grateful to co-chairs Barry Neiman and Randy Milgram, who I think are both here with us. Yeah, thank you. Randy's here. Thanks for being here. And almost 50 volunteers in shepherding this process over the past 4 years. We look forward to utilizing this data together with you, our community, to engage in a visioning and long-range planning process under the leadership of co-chairs Robin Pollock and Megan Bernard. Our work to address anti-Semitism took on new urgency with the Hamas terror attack, subsequent war in Gaza, and related local events. Federation convened community leaders on October 7th, and together we coordinated a community vigil the very next day. We held another community gathering in front of City Hall in late October, a program on April 7th, marking 6 months since the attack. We disseminated information and provided resources to help people stay up to date on the situation. I think that's an understatement. We sent at least weekly emails about that, and they were really informative, and I think gave a lot of people peace feeling so up to date. We brought community leaders and parents together to advocate against exploiting and manipulating local municipalities and government bodies into addressing international issues. Our efforts resulted in relationships being built with non-Jewish community leaders, and in most cases, and we all know what's the exception, with resolutions that were less anti-Semitic than we've seen in other parts of the country. Under the direction of our new Director of Community Relations, who we heard from today, Rabbi Asher Lopatin, we will use what we learned to work together to develop a more comprehensive community relations and advocacy strategy for the community. After October 7th, Israeli community members took the lead in bringing the plight of hostages, especially the children held captive in Gaza. Federation was honored to support this important grassroots effort. I welcome Tamar Kay, a fellow at the Frankel Center for Judaic Studies and one of the organizers of this effort, to come up and share some words with us.
Hello, good evening. My name is Tamar. I'm an Israeli filmmaker. I arrived in Ann Arbor in late August with my family. The days, yeah, I'm tall. The days and weeks following October 7th were extremely painful and scary, and I'm sure everyone sitting here can relate to that. And I think for my fellow Israelis, the fact that we were far from home when this tragedy was unfolding, posed an additional challenge. And to be quite honest, the only thing that really helped me back then was when we decided to gather together and do something. We decided to kind of join the worldwide campaign of raising awareness to the topic of the hostages, focusing on the children that back then were still in captivity. And we held weekly displays of strollers. This was done with the help of the Federation this assistance enabled us to print posters, pictures, and flyers by additional strollers and reach out to a large audience and community, including local press. I can share two meaningful aspects of this, aside of course, the awareness raising. One was meeting different Jewish students and their families coming to us and saying, thank you for being here, for standing here, we appreciate this. But also meeting people that were not so happy to see us, that were criticizing Israel, and that we were able to engage conversations. Even if they were challenging, they were meaningful. And again, I want to especially thank you, Eileen, for the help and for the generosity. It was meaningful not only for the cause, but I think also for us to kind of feel that we can do something with these emotions. And I really just want to finish and pray for the release of our sisters and brothers that are still in this nightmare of captivity. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. So there is this theater rule. Don't preface what someone is going to see. Let the performance speak for itself. And yet, I totally struggled to reflect on my time as board president, not because I did not know what to say, but what not to say. So 15 versions later, this is where I landed. At my college, all first-year students read the same books and studied the same piece of art or music. The idea, I guess, was to create community through notable works and their ideas. These works, things like Einstein's theory of relativity or Bach's musical offering, were unpacked and discussed in small seminar classes. All professors, regardless if the discipline was English or biology or philosophy, taught one of these seminar classes, freshman studies. My freshman studies course of my very first semester in college was taught by Professor Yatsik. His discipline, Russia, the Soviets, Slavic, and vodka. In the first class of my very first day of college, he yelled like Khrushchev, "Who knows why we are here?" Nobody said a word. "We are here to read books. Class dismissed." True story. I grew up in Highland Park, Illinois, home to mostly second-generation Jews, Italians, and Mexican Americans. My joke, I thought everyone was like 5'8", until I went to college in Wisconsin and walked among the descendants of Danes and Finns and Swedes. I mean, real-life Vikings, like giants. These people are so tall. Redwoods. One of our first freshman studies books was the Bible, Genesis actually. And unlike the majority of my classmates who came to college with their homegrown Bible, dog-eared with patchwork covers, highlighted and underlined, I had to buy mine at the bookstore, Conkeys. Early on in my Viking-filled class, some student was discussing a section in Genesis about the Hebrews. I perked up. Abraham the Hebrew. And the student went on and on pontificating about the Hebrews this and the Hebrews that, referring to the Hebrew people like artifacts, relics of another time. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm right here, a Hebrew, in this class. Do you not see me? Soon, other students jump on the Hebrews as ancient relics discussion, and I break. I stand up like Khrushchev and yell, I am the only chosen person in this room. None of you are. And I am going to lunch. I storm out of the class and I sob. I'm convinced that my 4-week-old college career was over. Later that day, I went to Professor Yadzic's office to apologize. As he drank vodka from a thermos, he said to me, I like you. You know why? You are not nice. Too many people are nice here. It's good. Do not apologize. It's okay to not be nice. In this last year, if I have learned anything about what is required to be a Jewish American, American Jew, I'm not sure which identifier to put first these days, here in A2 and beyond, is to not be so nice. To not apologize for who we are in bone and blood and being. To not apologize for what we believe or don't believe, Zionist, liberal, conservative, reform, recon, conservative, orthodox, affiliated, unaffiliated, passing by, rooted, diaspora, Israeli. To not make excuses for the misuse of phrases or data or history. This, my community, is not a time to be nice, to be silent. You don't have to stand up and shout to a room full of Vikings. You can march, write, advocate, fundraise, donate, and then donate some more. You can plan a program, be on a committee, find something, do something. If not, being nice is crafting a petition to stop an anti-Semitic resolution at your business, do it. If not, being nice is speaking up in a work meeting when someone says that the encampment was peaceful, speak up. If not, being nice is challenging an elected official on the existence of anti-Semitism because it exists, challenge. If not, being nice is because someone thinks that they understand who you are but refuse to see who you are, show them. If not, being nice is speaking up out of city council meetings 2, 3, 4, or 5 times, represent. In 2019, before COVID, before the October 7th program, before I became board president or even VP, I was asked by Steve Aronson, the president, to make remarks at A2 City Council as its Human Rights Commission was seeking to launch a community-wide forum discussion on divesting and dissing Israel, 2019. This is what I said. Small part. Less familiar with the workings of the city council, I understand its charge to deal with, among other things, road diets, infrastructure, green space, and now it seems international policy. This is how it begins, they say. First it's about potholes and roads, then it's about fixing the potholes and roads, then it's about Jews and their cars causing the potholes and roads. I know, prophetic. We don't have to march down State Street or set up encampments to take over buildings, but and this is my own evolution and transformation beginning 7 years ago when I sat on this board. I have to enter into all the worlds I travel in, unapologetic, defiant, out and proud, Jewish first, American second. I'm working on it. As I depart this role, and we, this organization, struggle and strive to navigate life as Jews, this post-October 7th world, I know and deeply believe that the Federation was made for moments like this. This is our role as a convener, may be
be in this moment more necessary and other moments less so. And so this is the Federation's strength. I deeply believe this. Its ability to shape, shift, adapt, and navigate the time in which it lives. We are here. So some thank yous to the person, some thank yous first to the personal, my breakfast maker, my bug saver, my sounding board, and my bestie Bruce. He would regularly ask me, what do you have tonight? Federation meeting. And now he will have them. That got applause in it. I want to thank this remarkable board of humans. How lucky we are to have such a multi-generational, multi-perspective group of people who show up in body and mind to meetings and beyond. I want to thank the informal triage group of Joan and David and Julie and Wendy, including our local rabbis. Love you, Joan, who became daily WhatsApp consults as we navigate our role as convener, connector, advocator during this time. I want to thank my tripod, Deborah and MLR, for helping me and us balance the responsibilities of this role on board. And I want to thank you, the tireless dedication Federation staff, Shane Dennis, Rob DeShane, Amchai Findling, Oath Gaffney Pappas, James Griffin, Ariella Hoffman-Peterson, Asha Patton, Becky Malamed, Marcy Koenig, and Rachel Wall. And guest stars, Julia Shernat and Ben Childers. In particular, I want to thank Rob and James for keeping this organization moving forward. Rachel and Becky for their vision, tenacity, and patience to making sure this organization and the community it surrounds itself survives and thrives. And gratitude to the 3 new people positions tied to our board priorities. The amazing trifecta of Amichai, coordinator of Israel and overseas. His arrival into this community is a blessing. Shane, our security manager, dedicated, accessible, and providing calm during this time. And Rabbi Asher Lopatin, what a gift to have him come westward. So he could share his gifts on convening and connecting. And lastly, Delaney. I talk to me like every day. Okay. And she talks to a lot of people every day, but I touch on me. And lastly, to Arlene, our fearless CEO. If you have just a little proximity to Eileen, you know she's one of the most dedicated and hardest working humans on the planet. But I am most in awe of this trait. Eileen never forgets anyone's birthday, or ceases to send out a condolence note, laud a bar mitzvah, or a community member send out a mazel to a new parent. She is the keeper of a burgeoning community, striving every day to make so many members of this huge community feel like they belong here. So thank you. For making me and so many others a place to belong. What a privilege to be chair of this board. I thank you for the opportunity. And see. We were so on time. I told Irene I was gonna ruin it for her. It said there's a note. Jackie, go to page 28. I know, I'm gonna thank everybody. I'm gonna thank outgoing board members. I got a little bit more, hold on. I'd like some time, here's some notes here. I'd like to take some time now to honor and show our gratitude to these dedicated and departing volunteers without whom Federation's work would not be possible. Okay, our outgoing Federation board members and our next gen A2 board leadership. I'm honored to publicly recognize the contributions of Next Gen, especially outgoing members, Mayan Rosenfeld, Max Grad, and Sarah Posen. Please stand so we can, Rachel, oh, no, she's not, is it not? She's staying. She's staying, I got the memo, it's in the script. Okay, please stand so we can recognize her efforts. Rachel, stand anyway. I will now ask, I see Rob over there, outgoing board member Rob Stern to join me at the podium. Come on, Rob. Come Unfortunately, Matt Scrad and Josh Sukenick were unable to join us this evening, but I will share a few words and a roast. No, about them. Rob. Soon after and into his tenure as board member, Rob added some of life's biggest stressors and joys, a marriage and a baby. Yet, still despite these changes, he remained, and you have remained, a dedicated and consistent, loyal board member, rarely if ever missing a meeting and contributing talents and times to finance and corporate sponsorship. Rob zooming into our board meetings was joyous, holding his son, or what we like to call a future board member of the Jewish Federation. Loyal and consistent and kind. Rob participated and attended many Federation Jewish communal events with his wife Amy and son in tow. We thank you so much for your time and dedication, both to the Jewish Federation, but also to the Jewish community here and beyond. Love you. It appeared out of snowflake. Do you want Rob to say something? No, that's good. Rob would really appreciate it. He would not appreciate it. We're not, sorry, Rob. Okay, off script. All right, here we go. A couple more. Max Grad. Living in a town and space like the city in place of Ann Arbor, where constant is indeed change, we are often gifted with people who may be here for a short stint, but contribute equivalently to someone who might be here for generations. Max Grad is one of those people. He arrives at a new place, knows his time is limited, but reaches out to the Federation to see how he can be part of our community here. He was originally from Miami. Max spent a decade in Chicago, where prior to his movement eastward, he was involved in their Federation. And shortly after his arrival in A2, became part of our main event planning team, eventually becoming on our board, where he was instrumental in re-envisioning and reinventing JYP into Next Gen. Additionally, as you heard earlier, he's the narrator of our campaign video. He's stylish and warm, and he's provided much of this board and community in 2 very short years. He's going to take his MBA at UCLA this summer, but he wanted to thank him for his gifts and his gravitas. And concluding this thank you using his words he crafted a couple years ago. He said, when he came to Ann Arbor, what I did not know was how racist the Jewish community here would be, but I shouldn't be surprised. I have been a welcome stranger on many occasions since arriving here, and I don't plan to forget that. Open yourself up to new experiences, and this place will feel like home. Thank you, Max. We got Sukenick bringing it up. Josh and I arrived on this boat around the same time. Maybe a year into my time, and it feels that when he arrived at the board felt equally like lighter and kind of funny and forward thinking. Josh is funny. If I could essentialize contributions to this organization of the past 7 or so years, I would actually say it is literally foundational. As an organization, we're focused on 3 areas: philanthropy, engagement, and convening, but it was Josh who framed them as organizational pillars. Holding up a house, the Federation, in his depiction, none of the pillars are more important or stronger than the others. They're all equally necessary. In this era of the organization, Josh has been one of its primary architects, ensuring we are more compliant, more automated. His efforts in campaign have been transformational, and his business acumen ensuring that the campaign is more data-driven. So we know more about who donates, who does not, when, why, and how. He constantly has retorts and quips and have made this organization and its pillars stand a lot stronger. And really briefly, personally, I'm so grateful that he and I crossed paths. And not just because my husband now has another drinking buddy who's really good at drinking, but because Josh is a remarkable human being, dedicated to doing good both for the Jewish community here, but also for the Jewish people, anywhere, anytime. Okay. And now, I am delighted to introduce my tripod friend, Deborah Chop, Vice President and Governance Committee Chair, to conduct the business portion of our meeting. Deborah.
It's really less fun to do business, but here we are. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I was honored to chair the Board Development and Governance Committee this past year. And a significant part of our charge is to identify leadership needs and to identify strong, diverse candidates who are reflective of our community to join the 2024-2025 board with an eye toward maintaining the momentum, which Becky spoke so beautifully about, to maintaining the momentum already in progress. So we should have the slide with the slate. So it is a function of this meeting, all of you, to elect our new board members. The slate of candidates and their bios were included in the materials sent in advance of this meeting, and the list is included in your programs. Continuing board members in the middle of their terms are Larry Adler, Becky Alexander, she cannot go anywhere, Jeremy Bloom, Marla Chinsky, Susan Fisher, and Murray Rebner. Continuing board members up for re-election on this year's slate are myself, Deborah Chop, Julie Grand, Marla Linderman Richelieu, Marty Schickman, and Annie Wallach. New board members on this year's slate are Jack Pietzman, Bruce Katinsky, Jennifer Rosenberg, and Alicia Simon. Alicia could not join us this evening because she is in Boston celebrating her son's graduation from MIT, and Jen is watching her son, equally impressive, lacrosse regional final. Is there a motion for approval of this slate? Right, I see a motion. Is there a second? I see a bunch of seconds. Are there any questions before we take a vote? Well, thank you. Okay, so the approval of the slate will be by voice vote. So everyone in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All right, mazel tov to our new board. The slate of officers will be officially elected by the board at their first meeting, but they are President Marla Linderman Richelieu, co-vice president, myself, and Julie Grand, immediate past president, Becky Alexander, secretary, Annie Wallach, and treasurer, Marla Chinsky. Thank you again to the Governance Board Development Committee for your thoughtful and dedicated contributions to ensuring strong leadership for the Federation. That was quick, I'm back. Okay, Miss MLR, all right. She comes up here with this. So MLR, you gotta come up. Kitty cat.
I've done really well at never having pictures to notice, so don't.
Martha. Like many of us on this board and on boards and businesses around the world, for several years you met people via a screen, framed by books or trinkets, objects that give a clue to who this person might be. This is how many of us met Marla Linderman Richelieu, who soon became MLR, her initials. Someone brought her here. Was it Lori? Randy? Eileen? She just magically appeared one day to literally rework, reinvent, and tighten up our governance documents, seated in her orange, black, ergonomic chair, half-octane desk, 3-screen, and a plethora of scrapbooking materials in view. She cut and reworked and revised and edited and remembered and recalled with breathtaking expertise. An artist. MLR's vocation, civil rights and employment law, informs much of her acumen. She's direct, she's precise, driven to solve, fix, which has been invaluable, during this time last year, as we have needed to navigate many social and political waters from the local to the state. MLR is steadfast in the belief in ensuring a thriving Jewish community from the schools to the organizations, and will be a communal doorway to offering different ideas and people and armor towards those who may not want to partner and or engage with us. MLR is incredibly giving, hyper-productive, able to write multiple novella-length emails and chats on different subjects to different and distinct audiences in minutes times. Her communications get right to the issue, challenge, subject and hand, efficiency combined with immediacy, combined with depth. That is MLR. I am no expert in board presidency, like a lot of people in this space, but I know you will be beyond exceptional in this role. For anyone who's ever Zoomed or talked to MLR, one knows she is a scrapbooker, dedicated to capturing and archiving moments so that the moments are saved and secure. I think, Marla, that in that spirit, MLR, a scrapbooker extraordinaire, will also be an exceptional board president, because both scrapbooking and this board role, you both have to both care and protect. MLR, you are incredibly giving, present, accessible, and dedicated to any and everything you are part of. And that is literally the most important characteristic of this role, to be dedicated to its pillars, but mostly to its organization's foundation, its staff, value and mission, a thriving Jewish community, one I know you will ensure just with grit and moxie. She's got lots of it, and love. I love you. MLR.
Okay, so years ago, 2 years ago, wait a minute, oh, I have to do this. Can I take this out? Yeah. I talk and walk. So 2 years ago, I was sitting next to Deborah, and Becky started talking about Randy and how amazing he was. And you saw her today. She is energetic and dynamic. And I was going to say nice, but I'm not going to now. And I thought, I don't know, she is amazing. And then I thought, oh no, in a couple of years, I'm going to have to follow her. I do not write my speeches because I want to look at you when I tell you how amazing you are. The organization that I came onto has grown in such leaps and bounds. Stephen and Randy, you really paved such a great road. But this year, Decky had to climb mountains. In every aspect of our lives, we saw turmoil, we saw division, we saw hate. It became, for many of us, a second full-time job. But she led us, she convened us. She is so articulate. She was able to talk to people, hard talks, in a way that we still built relationships. Your ability to convene, connect, communicate. I can only hope. We are such a different organization this year. You know, we talked a lot about shame, talked a lot about passion. But I also want to talk about how she's brought everyone together. How many times did you see the Federation reach out to you and say, can you please get involved? Can you please lend your voice? That was Becky. She brought us all together. She talked the talks. She did the hard work. And we are such a better organization for it. Sometimes you can be disarming because she's so spirited and energetic and dynamic. But her backbone, her moxie, is the word. Learned so many words from her. She's mindful, she's intentional, and she was the leader we needed at this moment. There's so much more I could say, but I've been told I only have so much time to talk. And I have to work with Eileen now as president, so I don't want to get off in bed. But I'm getting directions. I was going there. I was starting to walk back. Okay, I guess I have to put this down for a second, which is gonna be probably ugly sound. I'm sorry. Not so bad. Okay, so we're supposed to go and show this amazing picture, which really captures Decky. And I'm so proud that this is going to be on the wall for years and years. But as is tradition, as I learned to use a microphone, we have a gift for you. We always try to do something that really speaks to people who they care about. So I'm really hoping you like this.
This is a piece of art, and it says a little bit of life. It spells a lot of things.
Decky, you have been our light, and you have helped dispel the darkness for us.
Do that. Oh, sorry. Rachel saw it. A little bit. Rachel picked it out. Thank you so much, everybody.
So now it's time for me to tell you what I plan to do as president. Like, why am I here? I'm here because I believe in everyone here. I believe we have an amazing community. And if I had any doubts at all, this year erased them all. I want to first remember to thank people because I always forget that. My husband, who puts up with the fact that I have meeting after meeting, and is here today, which really, like, he doesn't like these things. But so supportive at home. My children, Naomi and Josh, U of M students, so proud of you. And I appreciate that you have always been there, just amazing. I want to, of course, thank the Federation staff. You guys seriously lift us up. You keep us going. You motivate us. We appreciate that. And to the board that I have been serving on with everyone, like, I wish I could spend time and tell you how amazing each and every one is. We are so lucky. But I think what we learned this year is that we are stronger together. Many of us felt like this was our community, that we just fit in. And on October 7th, that all changed. On October 4th, 5th, and 6th, we had at our house people from Nahala. That was my first thought. They had just landed coming from our community. And that's what they landed to. But I hope that they took comfort having met us, knowing that we were here to support them. But I also want to make sure that we are supporting each other. We talk about the Federation convening people. Boy, did we this year, and we need to continue. We have been, and Decky has been a champion of the JCRC, the Jewish Community Relations Committee, which Asher will be helping please get involved. There's so many different things you can get involved in. We talk about climate, but we need people for advocacy. We need people who are willing to go and help in the schools. We need people in every aspect. Even if you can just give a couple hours, you know, we all need to come together because we are together. We are a community and we are here for us. I hear oftentimes from my kids, from other kids, because of the kind of law I do, about how they're scared to come forward. We need to give a safe place for them to be able to talk about their feelings. We need a safe place where we can talk about our feelings. So this year and next, I want to make sure that we are convening, that we are here for you. Everyone. You know, I hear often that we're not a monolith, but as a civil rights attorney, I really wish everyone would stop saying that, because I know of no group that is a monolith, right? I mean, talk about the Catholic Church, but I definitely know some Catholics who are pro-choice, right? We don't, and Becky and I are in step here. We need to stop apologizing. We need to stop being afraid. And the way to do that is knowing that when we are talking, we are together. And it's okay, and we should be saying, we don't want anyone to die. No innocence. We want peace. We can explain why we have issues with the word ceasefire, you know, just stopping to rearm yourself. Not always, that's something we should want. But we need to come together in that aspect. So that is my plan. I want to do it as advocacy in JCRC, but I also think we need to come together as friends in a way that we're not always talking about despair and hatred and worry. You know, I'm hoping we can have some events this year, like I don't know, Maxwell soup contest, where we're all coming in and doing something like that, something that's very Jewish, but not, because we had a community study. And one of the things we realized is there's a lot of people, and we saw it today, a lot of people who are Jewish, who feel Jewish, who maybe aren't going to temple or synagogue or shul, but we cannot forget them. We need to do that kind of outreach. We need to have events where people can feel welcome. And I hope that you'll go when you see that and ask some friends that you know may be atheist or agnostic, but still Jewish, because we need to come together. That is my hope. That is my plan. And I hope that we're all working towards that together. Thank you.
It's better to hold the mic, I think. It's easier to see my face. So firstly, I just want to thank from the bottom of my heart, Becky and Marla. You have shown such incredible leadership, not just this evening, but throughout your term, and I know what will be an amazing term for you. Becky, I just cannot imagine having gone through this year without such a wise, well-connected, and passionate partner. It just made all the difference, and all that I learned from you during, and the way that you caused me to think in different ways really has helped mold what we've done over this year. And I'm just so incredibly, incredibly grateful. Marla, you too are wise, passionate, and well-connected. It's kind of amazing. I mean, I've never met such well-connected people, actually. They know everybody. It's really incredible, and I'm so excited to work together as we hopefully transition from this reaction and trauma mode into forward thinking and joyful thinking and planning for the future. So I'm going to say a few more thank yous, but speaking of the future, just looking ahead, what is coming ahead? Just want to let you know what's happening. First of all, this summer, The Maccabi Games are happening. It's a JCC project, and we're very proud to have 4 athletes from Moshav Nahalal joining the Ann Arbor delegation at the Games in Detroit. And they will be here at the end of July, and hopefully many of you will have opportunities to engage with them. We're very grateful for the opportunity to do this together. Then we have 2 young gap year kids, I guess they're kids, they're 18 years old, Israeli teens who will be spending the year here next year. And they will be in all of the organizations that you engage with and with Federation, and bringing Israel and Hebrew and culture and just their joy to our community. And we're incredibly excited about them. We are also still looking for host families. So if you are interested, please see Amichai. We also have some exciting programs coming up in the fall. Our major gifts event and our main event will both be in the fall. And I'm not going to give away anything at this moment, but we think we're going to have some pretty darn amazing events. So keep your eyes open. And I'll just say that we were supposed to have a mission this coming December 2024, 2025. We will be going to Israel December 2025 to January 26th. It will be a community mission, all of us together. It's not a Federation mission or a synagogue mission, it's everybody together. And we're really looking forward to having as many of you as possible join us. So keep your eyes open for that. So now back to the thanks. I want to thank our community partners, particularly the rabbis and execs. You may not know this, but about every month for about roughly only about the last year and a half or so, our rabbis and execs have been meeting. And it has really strengthens our community when we can get together and talk about the issues that are important to us, think of new ways to collaborate and challenge one another to do better. And so I'm really grateful for the partnership. I see Will, I see Dave, I know Anya's online. I'm not sure who else is here. This is why I don't like to name people. Oh, I see Jerry. Sorry, Jerry. Yep, I see Jerry. See, you guys all sat in the back. I'm little, so, and Jack is in front of you. But anyway, I'm just really, I feel like the challenges we faced together this year, doing it together made it feel much more manageable. So thank you for having one another's backs. Our board, I've already talked about the leaders of the board, so, but our board is an incredibly dedicated group of volunteers who care deeply about our community, and they encourage our constant advancement in clarifying, communicating, and achieving our priorities and goals. And I'm very grateful to work with such a dedicated group of people. We have over 125 volunteers. You saw some of them on the slides during our presentation. It was going to take us too long to put together the slide with all the rest of the volunteers. So thank you to everybody who has volunteered in any way throughout the year. We're very grateful. So now it's my team. We've mentioned them all before, but every so often I like to bring them up here and embarrass them. And I won't take too long, but I would like to ask every member of the professional team to join me here. Stand here. I feel so lucky to work with this team, so grateful. You might have noticed that our team has changed a little bit. We have a few more men on the team, which is nice, much more diverse. So very happy to have this team. So I'll just mention them. This is in alphabetical order, just so that everybody knows. So Shane, nobody's coming. Come on up. Shane Dennis, our community security manager, has been mentioned several times this evening. Rob DeShane, our incredible CFO, does so much more than finance and accounting, really keeps us going in every way. Amichai, who has just added so much, not just to our team, to the HDS team and to our community this year. Really is so happy that you're here. Skafny Pappas, who has kept this Life and Legacy project moving along and helping to support in our foundation. And we're really looking forward to next year in growing and strengthening Life and Legacy. James Griffin, who just keeps it all humming. James says everything. I always call this role that James is in, our administrative manager, the linchpin of our organization, and he is most certainly a linchpin of the organ. None of us could do what we do without James. Ariella Hoffman Peterson, who has really done such a great job this year with Next Gen E2, and we're very grateful that you share your doctoral studies time with us. So thank you so much. Asher, thank you for joining our team. We're very excited to see what comes next. We feel so lucky to have you here with us. Likewise, Becky, Becky and Asher both drive in from the suburbs. Becky, we could not have made it through the fall without you. And I know sometimes you felt like, oh, what am I doing? But seriously, if you weren't here, I wouldn't know what I was doing. And I just know we're going to go from strength to strength with our development work. And we're just very fortunate to have you here. Marcy has been with me for a very long time and knows that I will do almost anything to keep her on board. And she does such amazing work with our women's philanthropy. And I think last week was an incredible demonstration of how Marcy brings people together and engages them and creates friendships and connections. And Rachel has really more than two jobs. She's our communications and development director. I think there's really, you could add a whole bunch more titles in there. Really a right-hand person in so much that we do. And really, when you talk about our communications, it's this one with a lot of help from other people, but really helps us think through how we represent ourselves as an organization. So this is my amazing team. Please give them a great round of applause. I also just want to mention that Ben Shovers last year was our intern from Jewish Communal Leadership Program, and this year served double duty as a board fellow. So he served on our board of directors and worked for us. And we also, Gulia Cherniak, Anya Abramson's daughter, did an amazing job of helping us put on the incredible main event. And finally, because Rachel's going to say something, I just want to, because now Marie is here. Marie Patty is the artist who put up the installation. And I just want to recommend that people take a look and speak to Marie on your way out.
Yeah, I have to take the mic because none of what we do would be possible without Eileen Breen, our fearless leader, our visionary, as Becky said, our connector, and always in a year with so much joy, reminding us of the joy. Love the joy. Thank you. Thank you all again so much. Please feel free to sit, hang out and schmooze a little, eat some nosh. Thank you, James, for that. And have a lovely evening. And thank you for coming. Thank you. I realized when I was